Welcome back, dear friends, and happy New Year 2023. A new year, new wishes and new targets, new challenge, everything new. And now we are here to talk about Poomsae one more time. We have a special friend who is a British champion 2022 under 40 male, our friend Reza. Welcome, Reza. How are you?
Hello, thank you for having me. I'm doing very good, thanks. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Happy to have you here in our channel. Reza, first of all, when do you start to train in Taekwondo?
I started in around 2000 or 2001. So I was about, I think, 14 years old. So the reason I started is it's really funny because I saw the Karate Kid movies as a kid, and it terrified me. And I was so scared, and I was like, I don't want to do any of this. I don't want to go anywhere near karate, taekwondo, nothing. And then unfortunately, I was a very overweight, unhealthy little kid. So my parents said, there's a new taekwondo club here nearby. You're gonna have to pick a sport. This is good. Go there. And I was like kicking and screaming and crying, and I didn't want to go. But then after the first lesson, I loved it so much that I just kept going. So that was 21 years later, 22 years later, I'm here. Movies had the exact opposite effect on me. I mean, it really terrified me. The Cobra Kai clan was just really scary in my eyes as a 13-year-old.
Really? As you say, it's usually the opposite. I have, watching Jackie Chan or Kung Fu movies, and I went, oh, I want to do that.
I was very short for my age, and I was always the smallest in every class. So when I saw the Cobra Kai, I was like, what if they come to my school and they start beating me up? I can't defend myself. I'm not tall like these guys. So yeah, it was really funny. But then I watched it years later again, and it was like, this is a very funny movie to watch because it's not at all accurate. It's not very good martial arts. It's more of a movie, but it was very interesting to watch it afterwards as an adult.
Absolutely.
The more that you learn, the more that you realize that those kind of movement or motion or technique, they are not the reality. When do you start to compete after that? You fell in love of Taekwondo on your first experience, on your first lesson, and then when do you start to compete? Do you start to compete in straight away in Poomsae, or do you try the first Kirugi?
So I was a Kirugi fighter for many years. I mean, like from I think green belt or blue belt, I started fighting, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed Poomsae learning for grading because I like the structure. I like how neat and tidy it was and how balanced it was. And I thought if I could do Poomsae, it would tidy up my kicks and it would give me more balance. But then I was just for competition, I was just fighting because also Poomsae competitions back in early 2000s were not that big, not that advertised. But then as you get older, as you start going to university, going to work, I stopped competing at the age of about 18, 19, because a few injuries kicked in every time you fight. And then the weight loss is really, the weight loss and gain every time you go for a competition, you try and cut to make weight. It's really difficult on the body. So your body gets really tired. So I stopped doing weight cuts for training for competitions. I still trained. I started teaching. And then a few years into teaching, about 2016 or 17, when Poomsae, I started looking at Poomsae competitions. Like, this is really interesting. I think I like this. I want to give it a try. So I trained for about a year and a half or a year with the intention of I want to eventually make the national team. And I think beginning of or mid 2007, I got invited to train with the national team after in one of the scouting sessions, in the talent spotting sessions. And then 2018, I was officially given the position. So I was so happy, really, excited and nervous. And then I think Lille 2018 in France was my first international tournament. It was also my first with the national team. And I was 28, 29, and I was under 30 category. So it was very difficult to compete with the with the 18, 19-year-olds. But I aimed for that to say, I need a few years of practice to get into it, see if I can actually do this. And then fresh into the next category under 40, and I came in, hit the ground running, which was really good, exactly what I planned to do.
And you're doing very well.
I gotta keep trying.
Apart from all the things that you mentioned, that structure, working on your balance, but at the beginning you mentioned that all these things that Poomsae brings to your technique to Kirugi, but Then when you decide, what was the eureka momentum, what to say, I'm going to compete in Poomsae?
Two things. One, I couldn't go into sparring anymore because it became a very different game. I love Kurugi, I love fighting, and it just became very difficult to stay competitive, especially with work. I mean, you clash shins with someone and you're out for 2 weeks, and it's not just being out, it's you can't go to work for 2 weeks, and that becomes very difficult. And also, everyone was always taller than me, and even if I was to cut off one leg and lose, an arm and a leg cut off, I'd still probably not make the under 54 category and try and compete, because that's where even under 54 they're still much taller than I am, and that's the open weight, that's the first weight category. And then when I actually started looking at competitive Poomsae, the more I learned, the more I practiced, the more I really enjoyed it, because it needed a lot of attention to detail, which is what I love. I love intricate details, I love the balance, I love the control. I went to a couple of the seminars with Grandmaster Shinchil Kang, who came to London, and his balance was amazing. His style, his flexibility, his power and delivery, and I saw that and I thought, okay, this is actually what I want to go to, what I want to aim towards. And obviously, from the moment you set your goal, it takes years to get there. But I think the persistent training and the style of practicing Poomsae with a good instructor, with good guidance, with help from people who know this really well, and having that attention to detail and balance it worked in my favor, because I enjoyed it, and the more I enjoyed it, the more I liked doing it. And here we are, still doing the same thing and trying to find new ways to innovate.
You touch a good point. If you try to innovate it somehow on your training, on the way that you deliver your power, something that is make your own signature, that's when you become a better player. That's my opinion.
So that's what I've been doing in the past few years. I started, even when I was fighting, I would never do weights training at the gym, because I thought, one, it builds muscle, it makes me heavy, it makes the muscles slow but powerful, which is not what you need in Poomsae or Kurugi. I had a hip impingement in 2018, so I had to get surgery done on my hip. They had to shave off some of the bone to allow the hip joint to move a little bit, because every time that hip joint was moving, it was pinching here, it was tearing away at the ligaments. It was really painful, so I couldn't do any exercise. So after that surgery, my sort of recovery was going to the gym, doing some weight work, and then the more I did it, the more I realized this is actually helping my Poomsae performance. The more I could train with weights, the faster I could deliver that punch, that kick, the more endurance I had. So I think that was the turning point. That was a game changer in my Poomsae training. So okay, I actually need to do, because how many times a week do I need to go and do Mumtung Maki? That's not going to change. It's still going to be Mumtung Maki next week and the week after. I think at the peak of my sort of recovery was 3 times a week I was going to the gym and doing weights training, and then twice a week I was running, and then only once a week maybe I was doing Poomsae training, because it was just to say, okay, here's where the techniques go, here's the pattern altogether. And then when it gets closer to the tournament, I have to taper off the running and the weights training, and then slowly do more technical training.
More technical training. Yeah, absolutely agree with you, because our system, they burn a lot if you train a lot of technical things. I think that is a good balance that you are trying to get.
And then when you get nearer to competitions, obviously the balance changes. And then I think about 10 days leading up to a tournament, I don't do any more weights training, because I mean, if you haven't done it until now, it's not going to help you in 10 days. You're not going to build any muscle in 10 days.
Absolutely. It's not going to change anything, really.
Yeah. So I talk to a lot of people. I mean, it's a lot of help that I got from personal trainers, people from different martial arts, people, senior Taekwondo instructors, and colleagues on the national team, not just the coaches, but fellow athletes as well. Every time I get a chance, I discuss with them, I ask them questions and try and learn. And it's sort of years of gathering information and experience and sort of wisdom, everyone's wisdom that's come and helped me get to a good system that now works for me.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I mean, we need to be open, because everybody can have, a different approach to the training.
And everyone on the Poomsae circuit competition is so friendly. It's almost, if you tell somebody, they think you're making this up, because it's like all the people who are competing, not just from our team, but from different countries, from different teams, they are also friendly, also helpful. I mean, this is how we met, right, through Poomsae competitions, Poomsae training. So, and here we are. I've made some really, really good friends as well. So it's been amazing. The circuit is really good. All the athletes are so kind to each other.
I've confessed that I feel very proud of it.
To be honest. Yeah.
That environment that we can find in the Poomsae circuit is not very common in other sport, unfortunately. Something very positive.
It is. It's really good. You really can't do the same in Kurogi because I had a student who every time went to competitions, she went and made friends with her opponents. Like this is early in the day, and then when it got to the match, we'd go and she'd fight, and I'm coaching like kick, kick. He's like, why didn't you kick? Because she's my friend. I don't want to kick her. I'm like, okay, maybe
We need to change that.
very different.
Reza, what do you like most when you are on the mat competing? Do you enjoy more when you are there on the mat?
On the mat, it's very difficult because it's I still get very nervous leading up to the tournament, on the day, warming up, going onto the ring. It's very nerve-wracking. It's a big deal to try and zone out everything else around you, all the noise, all the distraction, and go on the ring. And then thinking that every time I've warmed up on this technique, I've lost my balance, and then you get more and more nervous. Best part comes when you get the right amount of nerves and adrenaline, trying to keep calm and have balance, and then trusting your training. And you go in there and you do just okay. You get the balance right, enough nerves to give you enough adrenaline to perform, and then not too much to sort of break you down and make you fall over and make your legs go like jelly. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I don't get it right, but with more training it's become better. But that sort of nerves that you go in the ring, you can't simulate that in training no matter how hard you try, because it's just not there. That's unique. You try and practice as much as you can, prepare as much as you can, and you think, if I go in the ring and if I've trained the right way, with that adrenaline naturally kicking in, it's going to go a little bit better. So that's something I haven't. I've really enjoyed about being on the mat in the ring, competing, that I haven't been able to properly replicate in my own training sessions.
The combination of those factors, adrenaline, nervous and everything, and try to get. So the mental preparation also is something that you need to try to work on that.
That's a really good challenge, and one that I find really interesting.
Try to get your head out of the water. You mentioned that feedback or tips from other players on the circuit and from other masters, but for you, how important is to get your master support and your everyday training? I mean, that relationship is super important in all martial art, but for you, what is the most important part of it?
Everyone needs an instructor. Everyone needs a coach, and it's not just, there's a difference between, an instructor, someone who just teaches, and a coach. A coach teaches you through thick and thin, and is genuinely invested in you and wants you to do well. So many competitions I've gone to, whether it's national, within the country, or international ones, and I've just gone by myself or messed something up. I've got enough experience. I've been competing for 3-4 years. I can do this. I go there, and then when there's no one, doesn't matter what level you still need that one person who is not competing, who's coaching you and telling you, okay, now you need to warm up. Now you need to warm up less or more. Okay, calm down, or do this or do that. So many times I've gone to competitions by myself and I've warmed up way too early, burnt out, and then got really tired, and then got on the ring and I haven't been able to do it properly. And then even when you go in the ring, having someone's mental support, just knowing they're sat there, knowing that you trust them and they have your best interest at heart. Not just that, they are also competent and really good at what they do, and they've taught you properly. That is priceless. That's what really gets me to get to the right level. And I've been extremely lucky to have found Master Alipoor. I've been training with him for the past 4 or 5 years. And he is he's very good, very technical. He's also an ex-fighter. He was on the Iranian national team for, I think, 7 years national champion in Iran. So, and he was representing the country outside as well. So he is highly technical. He's got a really good eye for detail. So whenever I lose my balance, I think I'm relatively really aware of my muscles, and I can really quite easily tell when I'm losing balance. But even when I really struggle, he takes one look and he's like, you're misstepping there. It's this foot, it's that leg, it's this muscle. And it's really good to have someone like that. And then when I go in the ring, it gives me another sort of level of confidence to know that he's sat there and his attention is nowhere but me, and he knows exactly what to do. He's an old school instructor, very strict, very traditional, but then when he gets to a competition, he is just like a second father to me. He has that father figure presence to him that is absolutely necessary in competitions.
And what do you like to hear from your master just after hear children?
So I think the best thing that I hear from him is well done, because when he says well done, he genuinely means it, and it's not, he doesn't praise easily. We have been to competitions. I've gone on, I've got a gold medal, and I come out and he's like, I'm not happy with that. I'm like, yes, sir. Because I know I didn't do as well as I should have done. Having his sort of acknowledgement that, yes, I've trained hard, or after months of training, I said, okay, this is where it's paid back. This is the result. And it's sort of regardless of what medal or position you get, it's all relative to what you've been doing, what you've been leading up to. So every time we step on the ring, it's like your competition is not this person or that person. Your opponent is that monitor over there, right? You need to get this score that we've been aiming for. This is what I want you to get. Now, whether you get a gold medal or a bronze medal or no medal doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And obviously in training, he says, I want at least one gold medal from you, from everyone. And it's like, but there's only one person. How can I get multiple gold medals? Like, exactly. He's that sort of instructor. But then on the day, he knows exactly how not to put that, how to control that pressure and say, okay, don't look at anything else. Don't look at this. Don't look at that. The number of times I've been sort of staring at the other matches and getting more nervous, and he comes like, come with me, turn around. There's nothing there you need to be looking at. Focus here, do this, do that. He distracts me enough and knows what to how to lead me onto the ring again in a good, calm state. So having him be happy and satisfied with the results and saying, well done, that is the ultimate compliment coming from him.
Absolutely. As I say before, like if you don't have the right mindset, it doesn't matter how hard you have been training. Obviously the physical training is important, but and if you have also a good connection with your master, with your coach, that's the moment.
Yeah, that's priceless.
Absolutely. I understand that your club is running a Kirugi and also a Poomsae competition very soon.
Yes. So after a few years of sort of trying to plan this, we initially started looking at this in 2019, and then, you know, out of nowhere, 2020 happened, and then the whole world sort of went upside down. And then 2021, 2022 is still sort of the same situation, not much change. But you were sort of looking at running a tournament, a competition based in London, because I think some people say, why is everything in London? Because one, it's central, everything's available, and it's also very easy to get to. For example, if you want to go between Oxford and Cambridge, the fastest way is to come into London and then out to the other one. So and vice versa. There's no like the direct train between, there's no direct train between the two cities, and that's like, a very simple example. So it's a very central hub. It's very relatively easy for everyone to get to. And well, the downside is going to be really expensive, because everything's expensive in London. But we've been trying to plan this for a while now. Eventually got the dates approved, everything booked, and now it's about a month away. So initially it was going to be just a Karugi tournament, but then given how much effort and time the whole club spent in Poomsae, we thought, why not try both? And then I was always trying to do more of I was always hinting, like, why don't we do a Poomsae competition first, and then if it goes okay, do a Karugi one. And then actually, why don't we do both? I'm like, okay, we're gonna aim big. Go big or go home, basically. So we're gonna do Saturday Poomsae and then Sunday Karugi. We'll see how that goes. The Karugi tournament has been fully subscribed now, and that was about a few weeks ago. I got fully subscribed. The Poomsae tournament still has some spaces left, and I want to encourage everyone to try and put your name down, compete. One, it's good experience for you, and then two, it also really, really helps us make and establish another competition in this region, as in this part of the country.
We are going to share the links. People can check the information.
Yes, thank you so much.
No problem. One more question that I would like to ask you, Reza. Any advice for you for the newbies Poomsae player, from your experience and your heart?
New Poomsae players or new people competing in Poomsae, both, I guess. So Poomsae is something that's achievable by everyone through hard work. There's no magic formula that anyone can say, here's the magic thing, you do this and suddenly you're better. It doesn't depend that much on talent, because you don't need talent, you need hard work. So if you are able to find a good instructor, someone that you trust, someone that has your best interest at heart, train hard with them, ask people for help. There's a lot of help from every instructor, even national coaches, even the federation. Everyone is willing to help. You put in the hard work and you will see the results. And it's something that's achievable by everyone. It not only helps you stay fit and healthy, it gives you next level control over your body. You train every single muscle. You put your leg, your arm exactly where you want it to be. You never miss a step. It gives you that sort of more high level of control of your own body. And it's very satisfying and relaxing, and also, somewhat therapeutic. And we want more people to compete, because the more people who are in your category, the better they are, the more they push you. If I didn't have strong athletes and strong competitors in my category, it wouldn't really push me to try and improve, try and get better, or do this and do that. Just the same way that, if there's one person in every category, it just doesn't make sense. They have no motivation to train and improve. So use anyone who's better than you as a target to try and improve yourself.
I love it. I'm agree with you that there's no magical formula. There's no. My humble opinion is probably the sparring fighter is someone that probably born with that special, super quick to think and to react, special, body to react very fast and everything. But Poomsae is up to you. I mean,
it's fully in your
up to you.
control, basically.
Completely up to you. The harder you work, the better you get. And it's true.
Yeah, it's so simple, and that's why it's interesting. It's just there's no magic to it. Yeah, it's really good. You just, the amount of work that you put in is what you get out. And on the flip side, if you don't get the results that you want, there's only one person to blame, which means you got to go back and train harder or train smarter. So, or both, train harder and smarter.
Absolutely. Okay, Reza. So it has been always a pleasure to talk with you. And I hope to see you very soon on your competition.
Pleasure. It's been a pleasure knowing you and competing next to you the past few years, and look forward to many more years competing together.
Absolutely.
All the best
for this year. See you very soon.
Take care. See you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And that's all for today. I hope that you really enjoyed to talk about Poomsae with our friend Reza. He's amazing. He's invite you and your competitors to go into London into his club competition. And we are going to put all the information and the links to register for Poomsae. So I hope to see you there. Bye.